My friend, I see you. You are the pillar in your family. You are the wise counselor in your circle. You are the one who carries the burdens of others with a steady hand and a reassuring word. You have become so proficient in the ministry of strength that those around you have forgotten a fundamental truth. Even pillars, you know the role. You've played the part for so long, you don't even need a script anymore. You're the one they call at 2 a.m. You're the steady hand in the room when everything is falling apart. You have the words, the quiet resolve, the seemingly endless capacity to hold space for other people's chaos. You are the strong friend, and it's a role you wear beautifully. But right now, in the quiet of your own life, you feel it. A faint, persistent tremor, a hairline fracture in your own foundation, and the most terrifying thought whispers. What happens if I crack? We're taught that strength is a fortress, impenetrable, silent. But what if we've gotten it all wrong? What if real strength isn't a fortress at all, but something far more resilient, more alive? What if it's a bridge? A bridge is strong because it can bend. It can hold immense weight, not by being rigid and unyielding, but by having a certain flexibility, a deep understanding of tension and grace. It is connected to both sides, giving and receiving support. And crucially, a bridge acknowledges the chasm beneath it. It doesn't pretend the empty space isn't there. Its strength is defined by its ability to span it. So what do you do when you're the bridge who feels the storm straining your cables? First, you must listen to the tremor. That feeling of being drained, of having nothing left to give. It's not a failure, it's data. It's your humanity sending a crucial signal: the balance is off. You've been giving your energy, but you haven't been receiving any in return. You've been pouring from a cup you keep meaning to fill, but never do. The world has told you that asking for help is a sign of weakness, but I want to suggest that it is the ultimate act of strength. It takes far more courage to say, "I'm not okay," than it does to pretend you have everything under control. To whisper, "I'm lonely," or "I'm scared," or "I can't do this alone," requires a vulnerability that is breathtaking in its power. You have to give the people who love you the gift of reciprocity. You have to let them be strong for you. You have to point to your own chasm and say, "I need a bridge too." And in your own quiet moments, you have to become your own first responder. This isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, defiant acts of self-preservation. It's the 5 minutes you take to just breathe, staring out a window, doing nothing. It's closing the door and letting the tears come, not as a sign of defeat, but as a release of immense pressure. It's asking yourself the question you so readily ask others: what do you need right now? And then you must listen to the answer. And this is the hardest part. You must honor it. Being the strong friend is a beautiful, necessary thing, but you cannot draw from an empty well. You have to allow yourself to be a person, not just a pillar, a forest, not just a single solitary tree. So let the facade crumble. It was never what made you strong anyway. Your strength was always in your humanity, in your capacity to feel, to empathize, to connect. And connection, true connection, is a two-way street. We have been sold a dangerous and isolating lie about the nature of strength. We've been taught to see it as a fortress, a structure built of impenetrable walls, silent and stoic, designed to withstand any assault from the outside without ever showing a sign of strain. We admire the unyielding stone, the sheer face that gives nothing away. We are told that this is the ideal, to be an emotional citadel, a human stronghold. And if you are the strong friend, you have likely internalized this image. You believe your value lies in being the unshakable one, the unmovable rock in the river of everyone else's chaos. But this model is fundamentally flawed. A fortress, by its very design, is a solitary structure. It is defined by its boundaries, by what it keeps out. It may offer protection to those inside its walls, but it is ultimately a monument to separation. It cannot bend, it cannot flex. And when the pressure becomes too great, it does not adapt to fractures. The hairline cracks that appear feel like catastrophic failures, evidence that you are not strong enough, rather than evidence that the model itself is broken. The truth is, human beings were never meant to be fortresses. We are organic, living, breathing entities designed for connection and resilience, not for rigid impenetrability. A far more accurate and empowering metaphor for strength is that of a bridge. Consider the profound differences. A bridge does not exist in isolation, its very purpose is connection. It spans a chasm, linking one side to another, creating a pathway where there was once a division. Its strength is not in its rigidity, but in its intelligent flexibility. It is engineered to sway in the wind, to absorb the vibrations of the traffic it carries, to expand and contract with the changing temperatures. A bridge understands tension and compression. It works with these forces, it doesn't simply resist them. It is grounded on both sides, receiving support and stability from its foundations. And it is this connection that allows it to bear immense weight. Most importantly, a bridge has the courage to acknowledge the void beneath it. It doesn't pretend the chasm isn't there. Its strength is literally defined by its ability to span that empty, often terrifying space. When you are the strong friend feeling the strain, you are not a failing fortress. You are a bridge experiencing a storm. The tremors you feel are not proof of your impending collapse. They are the natural response of a resilient structure to a heavy load. The feeling that you might crack is not a sign of weakness, but a signal that you are holding a tension that is meant to be shared with your supports. This reframing is everything. It moves you from a paradigm of solitary endurance to one of connected resilience. Your role is not to be an unmoving rock, but to be a living, breathing conduit, allowing love, support, and energy to flow across you, and crucially, allowing yourself to draw strength from the foundations on either side. You are allowed to sway. You are designed to flex. Ever designed to flex? Your strength was never meant to be a wall, but a way across. We often interpret the signals of our own exhaustion through a lens of moral failure. That feeling of being utterly drained, the sense that your emotional and mental resources have been depleted to the last drop, is not a neutral event. We attach a narrative to it. I am failing. I am not strong enough. If I were a better friend, a better partner, a better person, I would still have something left to give. This internal critique transforms a simple state of being into a judgment on your character. But this interpretation is a fundamental error in reading your own internal dashboard. Your weariness is not a verdict, it is vital data. Think of it as the warning light on the dashboard of a car. When the fuel gauge dips into the red and a light flashes, what is that signal communicating? It is not accusing the car of being a bad vehicle. It is not a moral failing of the engine. It is delivering a simple, crucial piece of information. The fuel tank is approaching empty. Refueling is required to continue functioning. Your feeling of depletion is that exact same signal. It is your humanity, your psyche, your spirit sending a clear, unambiguous data point to your conscious mind. The balance is off. The energy going out vastly exceeds the energy coming in. The system requires replenishment to continue operating. To ignore this data, to try and push through while dismissing the warning light, it's not a testament to your strength, it is a recipe for a breakdown. You wouldn't berate your car for needing gas, yet you berate yourself for needing rest, connection, or comfort. This data point is not your enemy. It is one of the most sophisticated and compassionate features of your design. It is an early warning system designed to preserve the entire system. When you feel that tremor of I have nothing left, the correct response is not self-condemnation. It is curiosity. It is the act of a skilled operator looking at the readout and asking, what is the system telling me? What resource is low? What input is missing? The answer is almost always the same. The system is low on fuel because it has been in a constant state of output without sufficient input. You have been listening, but not being heard. You have been supporting, but not feeling supported. You have been giving your energy, but not receiving it in return. This data is a gift. It is the catalyst for course correction. It forces you to look up from the needs of others and to turn your attention, your care, and your resources back towards yourself. It is the signal that initiates the necessary life-saving act of turning the faucet of your compassion inward. By honoring this data, you move from being a passive victim of your exhaustion to becoming the active steward of your own well-being. You stop seeing your need as a flaw and start recognizing it as the most reliable intelligence you have for navigating a sustainable and whole life. We are conditioned to believe that asking for help is a surrender of power. From childhood, we're praised for our independence, for doing it ourselves. We're taught that self-sufficiency is the ultimate goal, and that reliance on others is a form of weakness. This cultural narrative is so deeply ingrained that for the strong friend, the very idea of uttering the words, "I need help," can feel like a betrayal of their entire identity. It can feel like they are dismantling with their own hands the very pillar that others lean on. But this is a profound misunderstanding of both power and community. True strength is not found in solitary independence, but in the courageous interdependence of asking for support. Think of it not as a lowering of your flag, but as an invitation for others to enter your fortress. You have spent so long standing guard at the gate, protecting everyone inside, that you have forgotten what it's like to have someone stand guard for you. To say, "I can't do this alone," is not an admission of defeat. It is an act of profound trust. It is you saying, "I trust you enough to show you my unarmored self. I believe in our bond enough to be vulnerable within it." This vulnerability is not a liability. It is the bedrock of the deepest and most authentic connections. Furthermore, asking for help is an act of generosity. It gives the people who love you the gift of reciprocity. You have allowed them to be vulnerable with you, to lean on you, to be human in your presence. By refusing to need anything in return, you create an unbalanced relationship. You unintentionally place yourself on a pedestal, transforming a mutual friendship into a one-sided service. Ow. You rob them of the beautiful human experience of being needed, of being the strong one, of giving back to someone they care about. It takes away their agency and their opportunity to express their love for you in a tangible way. When you finally open that gate and allow someone to see your struggle, you are not burdening them. You are honoring them. You are saying your strength matters too. Your support is valuable to me. We are in this together. This transforms a hierarchical dynamic of supporter and supported into a circular, fluid, and resilient partnership. It is the difference between being a solitary monolith and being part of a woven tapestry. The threads are stronger because they are intertwined, each one supporting and being supported by the others. The courage to ask for help, therefore, is the ultimate reclaiming of your power. It is the power to define your relationships as mutual. It is the power to be fully human in all your complexity, rather than a two-dimensional character called the strong one. It is the power to build connections that can withstand not only other people's storms, but your own as well. It is, ironically, the strongest thing you will ever do. The concept of self-care has often been distorted into something that feels like just another item on an endless to-do list. We imagine it requires a spa day we can't afford, a week-long retreat we don't have time for, or a dramatic lifestyle overhaul that feels impossible to maintain. We see it as a grand, sweeping gesture, and because our resources of time and energy are already so depleted, we dismiss it entirely. This all-or-nothing thinking is a trap. For the strong friend who is running on empty, the path to replenishment is not through a single, monumental act, but through a quiet revolution of small, defiant acts of self-preservation. This is not about indulgence. It is about integration. It is about integration. It is about weaving tiny, almost imperceptible threads of care into the very fabric of your overwhelmed day. It is the 5 minutes you take to sit on the floor, close your eyes, and simply listen to your own breath, refusing to answer the ping of a notification. It is the conscious decision to stare out a window at a single tree, allowing your mind to rest on the movement of its leaves instead of the swirling chaos of your thoughts. It is the act of closing the bathroom door, turning on the faucet, and letting the tears come, not as a sign of a breakdown, but as a strategic release of immense internal pressure. These moments are not escapes from your life. They are vital lifelines within it. They are the equivalent of placing your own oxygen mask on first. In the midst of caring for everyone else, you must become your own first responder. This requires a fundamental shift in questioning. You are so adept at asking others, "What do you need?" The most critical, and often the most difficult, question you must now learn to ask is the one you direct inward. What do I need right now, in this moment? And then the even harder part. You must listen for the answer with the same compassion you offer everyone else, and you must honor. The answer will rarely be grandiose. It might be, "I need a glass of water. I need to take my shoes off. I need to not answer that text for the next hour. I need to put my hand on my heart and just breathe." These are not small, silly things. They are the essential ground-level repairs to a foundation that has been shaking. Each one is a quiet rebellion against the narrative that your needs must always be last. Each one is a message to your deepest self that you are still there, you are still listening, and you matter too. This is how you begin to refill the well, not with a single bucket, but drop by precious drop. It is in these microscopic acts of fidelity to yourself that you rebuild your strength from the inside out, rediscovering that the most important person you will ever learn to care for is the one who has been doing all the caring. The identity of the strong friend is a paradox. It is a role born from genuine compassion and capability, yet it can become a cage of impossible expectations. You begin to believe that your value is contingent upon your perpetual stability, your endless capacity to listen, and your unwavering ability to solve problems. To show a crack in this facade feels not just personally risky, but like a fundamental betrayal of the people who rely on you. So you polish the armor, you silence your own needs. You present a flawless, two-dimensional version of yourself to the world. The unshakable pillar, the endless well. But this performance comes at a catastrophic cost, the erasure of your own multifaceted, messy, and beautiful humanity. Embracing your humanity is not an abandonment of your strength. It is the reclamation of its true source. You are not a pillar. You are a forest. A pillar is a solitary, engineered structure. It is static and uniform. Its purpose is singular, to hold weight. A forest, however, is a complex, living ecosystem. It has moments of brilliant sunshine and moments of deep, dark shadow. It experiences seasons of abundant growth and seasons of necessary hibernation. It is home to both robust, towering trees and delicate, fragile ferns. It is not defined by a single trait, but by its breathtaking diversity and its innate capacity for resilience and regeneration. The strength of a forest does not lie in its rigidity, but in its adaptability and its deep, interconnected root systems. To allow yourself to be a forest is to grant yourself permission to be whole. It means acknowledging that you contain both sunshine and shadow, both resilience and fragility. It means honoring your need for a winter season of rest and introspection, rather than demanding of yourself an endless, fruit-bearing summer. It means understanding that the delicate fern of your vulnerability is just as much a part of your ecosystem as the mighty oak of your endurance. This shift from pillar to forest is the ultimate liberation. It allows you to be strong and soft. It allows you to be a source of comfort for others, while also acknowledging your own need for comfort. It allows you to be the listener and, at times, the one who needs to be heard. When you integrate all these parts of yourself, your strength is transformed. It is no longer a brittle, performative mask, but a deep, organic, and sustainable power that flows from the truth of who you are. You stop being a monument that people admire from a distance and become a sanctuary where people, including yourself, can truly come home. Your value is no longer tied to what you can hold up, but to the life-giving ecosystem you are. By embracing your full humanity, you don't lose your role as the strong friend. You finally become strong enough to fulfill it without losing yourself in the process.